Hello everyone, my name is Godwin Osai. I am here today to talk about something very crucial in our world today. Now, if you look around you today, so much is happening in our world. So many things that we've never seen before, like in 10 years, 5 years ago, we start seeing so much stuff happening within and around us. The reason why these things are happening is because, let me tell you, my friend, we're getting to the end. We're getting close to the end of times. Now, if you look around in the countries today, in many nations, the government is coming up with laws that is affecting Christians. Christians are facing persecutions. Christians are facing challenges. Why? Simply because the Antichrist knows that it is the end, and the Antichrist, they are rising up against the gospel of Jesus Christ. But the good news is they will never succeed. If you look at very well, this world we live in today, sometimes even some of us as Christians, we always think that this world belongs to them. When I mean them, I'm talking about those who don't know Christ. Wrong. I'll read a scripture for you. Psalm 115 and verse 16. Psalm 115 and verse 16. This is the word of the Lord. Psalm 115 and verse 16. Now, what's the scripture saying in Psalm 115 and verse 16? Yeah, it says, the heaven, even the heavens, are the Lord's, but the earth has it given to the children of men. The earth has it given to the children of men. Who are the children of men? The earth. The people that read this scripture are the people whom the earth has been given unto. So that means as I am reading it, as you are listening to it, the earth has been given to you. But how can we possess the earth if we keep thinking the world belongs to them? Remember, God said that as truly as I live, in Numbers 14:21, that all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. How will he fill this earth with his glory? Let me tell you, my friend, it's through you and I. In different countries, some countries are coming up with law that's affecting the Christians, affecting churches and affecting church buildings. These days, it has become a problem for Christians to acquire a church building. Why? Because the government is making it so tough that even in some countries, people don't acquire church buildings anymore because they are not allowed to even worship or praise or serve the Lord publicly. So if they cannot serve God publicly in their country, where would they serve God? Now, I want to introduce to you something that we call the Cellchurch, which in other words, it could be termed as this house fellowship, where Christians gather together to fellowship together. The Bible said that where two of you shall gather together in my name, there I am in the midst of you. Now, house fellowship, which we call the Cellchurch, is where we meet together as brothers and sisters to build up one another. After all, the Bible said that our fellowship is with the Father and with the Son. So whenever we meet together, the Father and the Son is present there to strengthen us, to empower us, and to give us wisdom. Now, Cellchurch is the end time tools that we have today in our hands to overcome and to take back the world for Jesus Christ. Why am I saying this? If you remember very well, in the time of Acts, when the Christians faced persecutions, when the church was dispersed, by the time they were dispersed, they came together in houses, fellowshipping together. And very soon, the church became stronger and stronger and stronger. And they begin to acquire more buildings, and they begin to acquire more grants. They began to acquire more power. Why? Because they started with house fellowship. I'm going to read another scripture to you. In the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 46. Acts 2:46. It says that, and they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meats with gladness and singleness of heart. Verse 47. Praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved. God is willing to add to the church daily such as should be saved. But the problem is, are we willing to walk with God to add to the church? I can tell you this today, that in the times where we are now, we need to take our house fellowship and cell churches very seriously, because I think and I believe that it is the end time tool that God is using to bring about the revival of the gospel of Jesus Christ in our communities and in our nation. Now, if you and I as Christians don't take the house fellowships or our cell churches seriously, how can the world take it seriously? When we do our house fellowship together, breaking bread together and eating together, fellowshipping together, very soon the anointing that is coming out from us will attract people in our environment, and salvation of souls will come together. But that will not happen if you don't have a cell church. My advice for you today is that join a cell church. That means you're joining what Jesus Christ is doing to bring about the revival of the gospel. If you don't have a cell church, if you don't belong to one, if you don't attend one, how can you be a part of those who are working together to bring about salvation? Remember, I believe that the cell church, the house fellowship, is an end time tools that God is using to bring about the revival and the birth of the gospel in the lives of many. And you and I have been commanded to do so. I remember a fellowship, a church that was not growing at all. The church was almost dead. What revived that church was their cell church. They started their cell church. Very soon they were growing, and the church became the largest church. Why? Because they fellowship together. Come, let's fellowship together. Let's try this and watch. God is going to take us to the highest level. God bless you as you do so. Thank you.